Greetings everybody from Potrero, Mexico. Yes, I'm in this little bitty village here. It's about halfway between Tampico and Veracruz on the highway, so it's an eastern coast village. We had all kinds of neat things happen here on the first day. The first day was mainly just travel. You know, we crossed the border, and as soon as we crossed the border, we immediately got pulled over by a couple of guys that they might have been police, they might not. They claimed to be. They wanted to inspect our stuff, but anyway, we got out of that, and later on when we ran across a guy who we knew really was a cop, we turned them in, so we'll see what happens of that. Actually, I won't. I think that us turning them in is probably the last we'll ever hear of it, but yeah, so my first day in Mexico was interesting. For starters, you know, in the United States, traffic laws are actual laws. In Mexico, that's not necessarily the case. They're more like suggestions, you know. Sure, there's a steady line down the middle that says that you're not supposed to be passing people, but, you know, if you want to pass them, go on ahead. If you want to spend some time actually driving along the other lane, going by 4 or 5 semi-tractor trailers, then if you think you can get away with it, you do it. You know, traffic laws here seem to be a suggestion. I'm glad I was not the one driving, I'll put it that way. Had my first real authentic Mexican meal here. That was really cool. It was barbecued chicken. They'd splayed it open for even cooking, and they had some kind of red barbecue sauce on it. It wasn't hot and spicy, and it wasn't a sweet sauce like what you find in the States. But it was one of the best chicken dinners that I've ever had. It was awesome. They served it with some spicy bean soup and as many handmade flour tortillas as you could eat. So I really enjoyed my first meal here in Mexico. Some of the things that I saw while traveling on the first day, the police were interesting. Apparently the police system here in Mexico is an adversarial system. In the United States, you've pretty much got one police force, whereas in Mexico there were like 5 or 10 of them, and none of them trust the others. So they're all watchdogging each other. It's pretty interesting to see in action. We passed by about 8 different military convoys on the way here. Yeah, mainly just trucks with guns mounted on the back and guys in full black uniforms. Pretty intimidating looking, kind of cool looking too, but we saw plenty of those as we drove here. What else do we have to talk about from the first day? That's a lot of it. We saw a crazy naked man walking down the highway. I could have done without seeing that, but, you know, ladies, he had no tan lines, just so that you know. When we drove through Tampico, that was an interesting experience. The smell of the air there, you can definitely tell that they don't have an environmental protection agency here, or at least not one that's actually doing anything to keep the air clean. But yeah, Tampico, it was crazy traffic. I mean, I'm from Kansas, so I'm describing this from a Kansas perspective. Imagine a city with the population of Wichita or Tulsa, but it has no real high traffic infrastructure. It has no highways passing through. It has no expressways or anything like that. It's all like block to block traffic, and all the traffic for the entire city is doing this. There were places where you could look at the road and you could clearly tell there's 4 lanes of traffic, and somehow there were 5 or 6 lanes in here. But yeah, Tampico was an interesting experience. I was definitely glad that I was not driving through that. I pity anyone who does have to drive through that. I've been told Mexico City is even worse, which makes sense. You know, Mexico City is the largest city in North America, so you know, if it's still Mexican traffic laws there, or what I've seen of Mexican traffic laws, yeah, that'll make sense. But yeah, we finally pulled into town here, and I was pleasantly surprised. I was thoroughly expecting to live out of a tent in my backpack. You know, I packed up with the idea in mind that I was going to be, you know, a backpacker. And instead I get here and they show me to the completed room of an unfinished motel. The motel is unfinished. It looks like its construction was stopped midway. It's an incomplete motel, but some of the rooms are finished, plumbing and everything. So instead of living out of my tent in a backpack, I've got a small motel room. And you can go down there, and those are the completed rooms, and that's where it's not so complete. I expected to live out of a backpack in a tent, and here I've got a bed, and I've got a refrigerator, and I've even got a working bathroom. So that was a very pleasant surprise. Didn't expect that at all. But anyway, this is Dax. I'll be posting these videos periodically so that you guys back home can see what's going on with me, and I wish you a good day.